Hello and welcome. Happy New Year 2021 to everyone. For those of you who are new to this channel, click that subscribe button below. We publish everything on coffee and milk tea in this channel, including smoothies and fraps, and lots of recipes and tips. For those who are planning to start their milk tea business this year, you are not too late. Bubble tea business is yet to get bigger and better, and it is not going away any minute soon. So today what I decided to do is to give you some basics about bubble tea. What exactly is bubble tea? You have seen a lot of recipes, you have seen a lot of video tutorials, including the ones that I have in this channel. So I'm going to backtrack a bit and give the basics of bubble tea once again. Bubble tea is one that everybody seems to enjoy, and it's a treat that everyone looks forward to having whenever they feel like having a treat. It's not something like coffee or tea where it is an absolute necessity. Bubble tea is something that you really look forward to, especially when you've had a really hard day. And regardless of the pandemic, regardless of all the economic hardship, it is going to get bigger and better. And you can see this by more bubble tea shops opening everywhere. It is not too late. So stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, and keep watching the recipes that I give every time. Going back to the basics of bubble tea, it's supposed to be a very simple drink. It's actually just tea, milk, and sugar. In Taiwan, they started this bubble tea craze. And that means it's milk tea plus the bubbles, which are the Tapioca Pearls. Now, some may say that bubbles actually do not refer to the Tapioca Pearls, but rather to the foamy or the bubbly top on the drink. But whatever it is, now bubble tea is really all about the tea, the milk, the sugar, and the Tapioca Pearls. With the introduction of more bubble tea shops that are trying to create a niche or differentiator, there are so many variations to bubble tea now. I am going to talk about the basics of bubble tea in this video clip, and the rest will be in other video tutorials, which you have already seen. I just want to go back to basics. Going back to basics, I am going to cover everything about bubble tea, everything that you might already know, and everything that you need to know, plus more. It's always the case in this channel. Let's talk about tea. With tea, you can use green tea, black tea, or oolong tea. The most commonly used bubble tea is actually black tea. Now, when you talk about black tea, there are again many different types or many different varieties of black tea. You have the Assam, the Ceylon, the Earl Grey, and many other black tea variety. If you select one type of tea, say you select Ceylon tea, there are also many different grades. So depending on the grade of your tea, it's also different in pricing. But what you have to do is to really look out there, select the best tea that you like the most and that you think your customers will like. I would say the stronger the tea, the better. If you want it to be malty, go for the Assam and the Ceylon tea. If you want it to be more grassy, minty, go for the Earl Grey variety or the red tea variety. So yes, it is a challenge as well. You have to decide what tea that you would like to use for your classic bubble tea. In terms of green tea is actually, if you're talking about regular green tea, it is not perfect for milk tea because green tea, by its nature, when you add milk to it, the color will become absolutely gone. It will not be green anymore, except if you use the variety that is used in Thailand, which is the Thai jasmine green tea. That is perfect for jasmine green tea latte. Or if you want to go more premium, then you go for matcha green tea. In terms of sweetener, there are also many different types. You have the brown sugar, you have the white sugar, you have the stevia, some use honey. So whatever sweetener you use, you must make sure that it serves the purpose, which is to make your drink sweeter. Many shops also use fructose. Well, I am not a proponent of that. So if you can stay away from that, it's better to go with whatever you know is in your sweetener. For this video tutorial, I am going to use brown sugar. And the reason why I'm using brown sugar is actually because it adds color to the drink. Instead of having a very pale milk tea the brown sugar will help to make the color more enhanced. When it comes to milk, there are also many different types. So the most common type that is used in most classic bubble tea shops are non-dairy creamer. So there are also now different variations to this using fresh milk. I use evaporated milk and condensed milk and fresh milk and creamer all in one, but the most common is using non-dairy creamer. And the reason for using this is that it's because it is cheaper and it gives that creamy texture in the drink, as well as it is very, very long lasting. So it doesn't spoil easily. You don't need a refrigerator to store your non-dairy creamer. But again, this is not exactly the ideal milk for your milk tea, but then without this, your bubble tea is just not the same. Okay, so non-dairy creamer. And finally, the star of the show, which makes it very, very addictive, it is the Tapioca Pearls. There is nothing that beats the sticky, chewy taste or texture of the Tapioca Pearls that everyone is craving for in their bubble tea. Once again, these days there are many varieties or many types of sinkers, ranging from grass jelly, egg pudding, panna cotta, aloe vera, cognac pearls. So there are many different types of sinkers that are used in bubble tea. So once again, because we are going to talk about the classic bubble tea, I am going to use black tea, I'm going to use brown sugar, I'm going to use non-dairy creamer and tapioca pearls. And of course, because this is ice, I'm going to use ice. For this video tutorial, I am going to make 3 different cup sizes. One is 12 ounces, and I'm going to make it per cup. 12 ounces, 16 ounces, and 22 ounces. And I'm going to show you the proportion that we use for each of these cup sizes. So let's start by making our brewed black tea. For this, I am going to use the traditional method of boiling the water. I'm going to use 1 liter of water. The normal proportion that I use is 5 liters of water to 150 grams of tea. Some of you might wish to steep the tea longer than 10 minutes. That's okay, up to 15 minutes. After that, I think your tea might turn out to be bitter. Some of you might think it might be better when it is stronger, but not when it is bitter, because it will leave a bad taste in your mouth. Now, if the tea becomes bitter, what happens is you have to add more sugar to balance the bitterness of the tea. So that's not going to work. So for this, I will need 1 liter of water, and I'm going to use the traditional method of boiling. So now my water is close to boiling. I'm going to just lower the heat and pour my tea in. At this point, I am just going to give it a stir, and then I am going to turn off the heat. For the brewing time, I am going to let it brew for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we are ready to strain our tea. I'm just using a simple tea stock strainer here. The recipe that I'm going to show you will need your tea to be warm. So for this, I am going to use a shaker, which is the traditional method of making bubble tea. 2 tablespoons of creamer. You may use 2 scoops if you'd like it to be more creamy. And then I'm going to use 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. 120 ml of my brewed black tea. For some, they do not need to use a measuring cup. They can use the calibration on the shaker itself. But for me, I use a measuring cup. Give it a stir. Make sure everything is dissolved, and then we are going to add ice. Because it is a 12 ounces cup, we do not need to fill the shaker to the top with ice. Give it a good shake so that it will be very cold. Now add tapioca pearls into your glass. I am generous here. I'm going to put 2 scoops and then pour the drink over. And it is perfect. Next, we are going to make our 16 ounces cup. So for this, I'm going to use 3 scoops or 3 tablespoons of non-dairy creamer and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Once again, into the shaker. And next, we are going to put 150 ml of our warm black tea and give it a stir. So because this is going to be 16 ounces, we might have to put a little bit more ice than earlier. So fill the shaker with ice and then give it a good shake. So once again, let's put the Tapioca Pearls into our 16 ounces glass generously, 2 scoops, and then pour the drink over. And this should be perfect for 16 ounces. Finally, for our 22 ounces cup, once again, we are going to put all the ingredients into the shaker. 4 tablespoons of creamer, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 200 ml of my warm brewed black tea, give it a stir. So because my tea is warm, you can see that it is dissolved just by stirring it, and then we'll fill the shaker with ice. This time I'm going to put a little bit more ice because we are going to use a 700 ml or 22 ounces cup. So once again, shake. Shake it well so that the drink will be instantly cold. Let's fill our glass with Tapioca Pearls, pour the drink over, and once again, it is perfect. So you will see there's a little bit of space that you can use to fill it up with some cream cheese or any topping of your choice if you want to add value to your drinks. So there you go. Let's put our boba straws in, and we are ready to serve these drinks. Well, there you have it, 3 different types of bubble tea using 3 different cup sizes, 12, 16, and 22. Now, you can follow the recipes that I have indicated in this video tutorial, or you can make some adjustments as you see fit. But what I showed you is my recommended recipe and also the traditional way. Now, once again, you may substitute any of the ingredients. You may substitute the sugar with fructose or sugar syrup, but please not fructose. And also you may substitute the milk to something more healthy like fresh milk, or if you'd like it to be a bit more rich, then you can use creamy evaporated milk and condensed milk. Let's give them a try. I love the color of this tea. It is not very pale. What I hate to see the most is a milk tea that is so pale, and just by the looks of it, it will be tasteless. But for this, I'm sure it will be tasty. The smell is of tea, and the creaminess is also just perfect. This is why people love to have Tapioca Pearls. They're chewy, soft, and very satisfying when you have it. The taste of this tea is strong, and that is exactly the aftertaste that I can taste after my first sip. The sweetness level is just about right. Again, you can adjust it as you see fit. Next is the 16 ounces cup. I'm going to stay away from the boba this time. Delicious. Very strong tea. Finally, Giant. This is 22 ounces or 700 ml of bubble tea. This is definitely enough to satisfy every craving you might have for bubble tea. Delicious. I hope this video tutorial helps in going back to basics and making sure that you improve on your current milk tea, or if you're planning to start one, once again, I encourage you to do so. So for those that have not yet subscribed to this channel, click that subscribe button below. For those that have already subscribed, like and drop me a comment so I know what you think of the recipes that I show here. Stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.